everyone! So today's video is going to be a Q&A. I've been meaning to do this for a while but haven't been able to for various reasons, and I'm finally going to get it done. So the questions. In your opinion, what is the weirdest item you own? Out of all of them, it would probably be this. I know right now it looks like a jumble of just shininess, but this is a swimmable mermaid tail. I got this when I was about 13 and I had a really big thing for mermaids. I still do, but not as much as I used to. And I bought this online for like $70, and basically you put your legs and your feet in it and it has flippers in the end and you swim in it. I've actually never used it in like the sea or a pool or anything. I've only ever used it in the bath because I don't really have the guts to wear it out in public, but I might sometime in the summer if no one's around because I'm a pansy. But I will show it to you. It's really, really big, so this is going to be a bit awkward, but this is the flipper bit. This is the rest of it where your legs go. So I think that's probably the weirdest item that I own. How would you deal with getting abuse at you from someone from their window every time you pass their house? Personally, I would probably just ignore it because I honestly don't know how else to react to it. Like, what am I going to say to that? And I feel like that kind of thing, like shouting from windows and stuff, is kind of an attention-seeking thing in a way, so I wouldn't want to give them the satisfaction of a reaction. That was not supposed to rhyme, but obviously that's not recommended for everyone. Other people would say it's better to stand up for yourself in some way, but I don't really know how I would in that situation, so I personally would ignore it. What are your top 10 favourite bands or films? Labyrinth, Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas, Edward Scissorhands, The Crow, Howl's Moving Castle, Little Miss Sunshine. I like Harry Potter, but I don't know if I count as a real fan because I haven't read the books, I've only seen the movies. Sweeney Todd? I don't even know how many I've said now. I've just lost count. That's all just off of the top of my head because I'm disorganized and I'm sorry. How did your parents respond to you being goth? Just to put this out there while we're on the topic of goth, I don't really consider myself a goth. I would definitely say that I have gothic influences, and it's totally fine if someone describes me as goth because that is a kind of good description of me. But I have a lot of other influences too, like, you know, steampunk and hippie, pirates, all that kind of stuff. And I know goths themselves also have other influences, but I don't really think of myself as a goth. I just use the word descriptively, and I just wanted to put that out there. But when I first started becoming alternative, my dad, I don't think he really cared, but he didn't really care about anything that I did because he was a dick, so that's kind of why. But my mum, I think at first she was kind of concerned, but I think it's because it was such a contrast to how I was before, because before what I am now, I was like a full-on hippie and I just wore rainbows all the time, and then suddenly I started wearing black and listening to dark music that was really try-hard. Yeah, but these days she doesn't mind. She, like, for example, she bought me this bat hat and she bought me the makeup I'm wearing, so yeah, she doesn't mind because she knows how important self-expression is for me. How old were you when you got into the goth subculture? When I first started getting into my alternativeness, I was 14 and I was actually aiming for more of the emo thing. I quickly grew out of that, and that was just the first step to what I am now. If you could only listen to music or dress how you wanted, which would you choose? When I first thought about this, I actually thought that music would be what I would prefer, but I actually would rather dress how I want because when I'm not dressed the way that I'd like to be, I literally don't feel like myself and I feel out of place and I just feel constantly unsettled, and it's horrible. So I would actually prefer to dress how I want because self-expression is very important to me. How old are you? I've been getting this question so much and I've been kind of hesitant to answer it because I'm a bit weird about age, but I'm 18 years old and I will be 19 in January next year. What's the backstory of how you got into all of this stuff and your style, etc.? Or have you always been into this stuff kind of thing? Well, as I said, I first started getting into it when I was 14 and it kind of crept up on me. I just started wearing a bit of black more often, and then gradually I started wearing more and more, and other people seemed to notice this before I did. And I started getting a lot of comments from people like calling me emo and stuff like that, and so I kind of started to then aim for it. It was partly a subconscious thing, and then yeah, I started listening to certain bands and branching into other kinds of subcultures like, you know, goth, stuff like that, and I pretty much took all of this cool stuff on board and all these different influences, and here I am. Sorry the lighting's gone all crap all of a sudden, it's a dark rainy day today. Have you ever had any negative comments on the street or from family or friends? Yes. I don't get that many negative comments. I get a lot more compliments than negative comments. Usually it's whole shouting out of a moving car thing, and from family or friends, I don't believe my friends ever really said anything to me about it. If they didn't like it, they just tried to kind of ignore it and not acknowledge my alternativeness or whatever because it made them uncomfortable, if that makes sense, but they wouldn't say it. I think I just said something really jumbly, but anyway, I hope that made sense. From family, my siblings used to call me emo a lot when I first started out, but that's not really a negative comment, that's just their opinion. But apart from that, the only really negative comments that I've gotten from family is from my grandparents a while ago. I don't speak to them anymore, but they were like Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff, so they were definitely not very fond of the way I started to dress, and they were really, really nasty and childish about it, and I was kind of disappointed in them. But really I should have expected it because they were very, very closed-minded in my opinion. And yeah. So that is all of the questions. Thank you all so much for asking me stuff, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Bye!